All right, man. All right. We are doing a few things here. Welcome, everyone. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Can you see me loud and clear? I'm going to turn off the music. Welcome, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me loud and clear? Any difficulties with the audio? Please let me know now. You can hear me. Everyone can hear me. We're going to have a nice discussion about challenges with my build and obviously all the feedback that I have received from a lot of you. Okay. Let me see if okay, good. As long as you guys can hear me, as long as you guys can see me, that's all that matters. I want to make sure that you are not hearing broken up audio or video. Okay. Because then it's no good. Um, but I want to give everybody just a view real quick, okay, of what we have going on. A lot of ultra high end audio stuff. And clearly, if you have any interest at all in buying some high end audio equipment, make sure you visit my website, jaysaudiolab.com. I have great deals on some Nordos cabling right there. See all that Nordos cabling, the Sim Audio right there, amplifier, the integrated, which is a phenomenal integrated. I got a lot of stuff that is for sale on my website. If you have any interest in anything, shoot me a message, send me a note, send me an email. You know my email by now, and we can put together a deal. Okay. Um, right now, before I get started, okay, I wanted to first and foremost, thank a lot of you who have been sending me emails with recommendations as far as what to do when it comes to building my room, when it comes to the insulation, when it comes to all things related to what I am trying to accomplish here. It is not easy, I got to tell you. If you ever are in a position to build your own sound system, okay, if you are ever, let me just say this, you're going to get a lot of opinions from a ton of people. You're going to hear opinions from don't do that to the floors, to don't do that to the electrical, don't do this to the insulation. And it's going to be hard for you to essentially come up with a plan if you're going to hear everyone's opinion. Eventually, you're going to have to go with your gut. Obviously, you're going to follow the guidance of the contractors and people that do this at a high level. And yes, do your own research and come to what I feel is the perfect size for the room, assuming that you have the right, the right real estate, of course, and just go with your instinct. I know rooms are built only once. I don't know of anyone that built a room, tore it down, and built it again. It's a lot of money. Also, keep in mind that this investment, you never get it back, guys. You spent 100 grand. If you spend 100 grand on a build, folks, it's gone. You never get that money back. Okay, when you sell your house 10, 20 years down the road, the next owner may not give a shit about your sound room and may want the room the way it used to be. Okay. Luckily, I will say this, my home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, believe it or not, after I ended up redoing the pool, I hired someone to redo the pool. And we essentially did everything possible to keep the house in Fort Lauderdale looking as good as possible. We did a lot of renovations before we left. It actually rented in 3 days. That's all it took. We put it up for rent, and it rented in 3 days. That's all it took. That fast. This is what I was saying about the area where I lived. Okay, it was 15 minutes away from Las Olas in Fort Lauderdale. The beach is there. The highways are there. Great school. 3 days, guys. 3 days. Some houses here in Texas, it's taken 12 months to be able to sell a house. In Florida, that's all it took. 3 freaking days, and I got exactly what I was asking for it. So that goes to show you it's a more desirable region, which is why if anyone watching this live stream who lives in the USA is looking for a lot more bang for the buck, I can't think of a better state than Texas when it comes to real estate, period. Yes, it's hot as hell. Yes, you're going to deal with humidity. Yes, you're going to deal with dryness if you move a little more north. But when it comes to the real estate and what you get for your money, I don't think there's a better state than Texas. Okay, that doesn't mean there are no other options. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, but I'd be damned if I'm going to move to Minnesota, Minneapolis, and Iowa, Wisconsin, Montana, and be in like sub-zero temperatures. I'm not doing that. Okay, that's not something that I'm interested. I rather sweat than be freezing. Okay, so let's get that out the way. All right, so why I'm making this live stream is simple. Reason why I'm making this live stream is to give you more context as to what's going on. I already mentioned to you guys, okay, that the idea that I had originally was to spray foam all of this, all the way to probably where those shelves are right there, right? That's what I wanted to do. Spray foam it, right? The whole structure. Then rock wool on top of the spray foam. My contractor said, Jay, we can do whatever you want us to do. At the end of the day, you're paying. We don't care. But our advice, expert advice, is that you do not do that here. In Conroe, there's a lot of humidity, and humidity will get trapped between that spray foam and the rock wool. And then you can have problems. It may not be a problem that occurs in the first 12 months or 24 months or 36 months, but maybe 5 years down the road, you might run into some issues. And then you're going to have to rip out everything, right? You're going to have probably condensation happening, and you're going to have to rip up everything and do it all over again. And so we're looking at it long term. I know some of you who are watching this have done what I just described, right? Foam and rock wool on top. I know a lot of you have done it. But what they're telling me is in here, humidity is a problem. Where you live, you may not have that problem. So you don't have to be concerned with humidity somehow making its way between those two types of insulation. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you guys understand what they're telling me. Now, I will say this. I don't think they'll be blowing smoke up my ass because at the end of the day, they didn't have to share that with me. They could have easily done exactly what I asked and made more money in doing so. You see what I'm saying? They could have easily told me, we wouldn't even tell this guy that humidity will start in about 5 years. We'll just do it because we'll make more money by doing the spray foam first, right? They didn't have to tell me that. They shared that with me. They shared it. They said, this is the problem with what you're trying to do. Anyway, so I decided that I am not going to spray foam because I don't want to go against what builders are telling me here. Okay, and also that's point number one. Point number two, I have a cap as far as how much money I can spend building these two rooms. Folks, it's 6 figures. This build is going to cost me 6 figures, and that's not counting the acoustic treatments. That doesn't count all the stuff that I need to buy for the inside. For example, beautiful listening chairs, the carpet, the rug, whatever it is the sectional rug that I'm going to put. It doesn't count all the acoustic treatments for 2 rooms, which we know is a ton of freaking money. It doesn't account for any of that. So add another 30, 40 grand right there. Folks, this can get stupid expensive. And so I have to, at some point, pump the brakes and understand that if I need to make adjustments somewhere along the line, I am going to have to determine that based on how much the bills are piling up to be. So far, I already told you guys I have spent basically $20,000. And as you can see, nothing has been done yet. Nothing. But I have the hardware to do the iso wall treatment and the roof as well. And I also have order 3 doors, solid core doors. Some of you guys said, is there a need for you to have to order 3 doors when you can just shut the door behind, put some treatment behind the wall and call it a day? I mean, put some treatment behind the door and call it a day. That's a great suggestion, guys. I agree. Okay, but I'm also very concerned with the fact that I don't want for sound to leak out of my 2 rooms. I don't want to hear any noise outside into the house, which I shouldn't, but I also don't want to disturb any sort of neighbors, okay? And you know we're going to do a lot of listening. That's point number one as to why I think having the right solid core doors is actually very important. Point number two, I also want to do something that I have not disclosed. I want to be able to run two sound systems at the same time and not disturb each system in doing so. So when I do open doors, hopefully next year, I want to be able to have, I don't know, a group of 20 people. You could have 10 in this room listening and then 10 in the other room listening. And the rooms are not going to interfere with each other. You're not going to have to stop one system to hear the other because the rooms are going to be completely isolated and the doors are going to help not basically let sound leak into the adjacent room. Does that make sense? So that's the importance of that door in the middle and also the outer doors. See what I'm saying? And so, yes, I want to do things simultaneously when you guys come to visit me. When I do this entire event that I want to put together at some point, you all will enjoy it at the end of the day because you can walk into my reference cost no object system in that end, open that door quickly, enter the second room, close the door behind you, and now you're listening at the same time, a whole new system that might not be at the level of the reference system. But yes, I am going to have a cost no object system. In a second room, I'll have a system that will be great, but that will be more of my lab. That will be more of the room in which I'm going to pull in speakers, amplifiers, spring amplifiers, and trying to always leave my reference system untouched. That's so you guys understand what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm trying to do something that has never been done. A lot of times you go to a store and you can only listen to a system, one system at a time, right? You go see your local dealer, you sit in front of the system, you listen to it, and then they have to shut down that system to turn on the next system. I don't want to have to do that. I want you guys to come in and listen to both systems at once if you want to. Okay, I've been looking at some audio chairs. I'm not going to be buying some crazy expensive hi-fi chairs, but they'll be nice chairs. No, they're not going to be recliners. Okay, I understand that, but they are going to also look very premium, very pretty, very contemporary. I am going for a modern look. My system, my room needs to look modern. I don't want anything that looks obsolete, old, with acoustic panels of this color. That's a no-go for me. Automatic fail. I don't want acoustic panels that are made out of wood color. I don't want to see any wood at all inside my two rooms. Zero wood color. I don't want any. I want to see cool colors. For example, beautiful white colors. I want to see that. I want to see blue. I want to see colors that actually put you in a good mood. That's what I'm looking for. So when you walk through that door, you're going to be in a room that you probably have never been into before. Most dealers cannot do what I want to do because obviously they are renting their space. They're leasing their space. That's not the case here. All right. So I just want you guys to understand my vision. Okay. This room needs to be super, super awesome, super modern, a great feel, the right lighting as well, that you can change colors to the lighting. And yes, I'll break the news. I'm going to leave the windows in place. The windows will remain. I've decided that the windows will be part of the feel of the room. And we're going to put hopefully some motorized curtains, window shades, whatever the case may be, to control some of that heat because the sun will beam inside this room. And the last thing I need is for the sun to be creating like some sort of damage on the finish of my electronics, right? Because it's been beating on the electronics for like weeks at a time, days at a time. So now you understand, okay? It's a very intricate process. Folks, if you're building a room, I am going to tell you, you got to do it at a slow pace because once you cut that check and you pay that contractor, you have to understand that that's where the wheels begin to spin. And hopefully when that happens, you have a very clear vision of what you're trying to do. In my humble opinion, okay, doing this for a second time, I did it already in my home in Fort Lauderdale. This is the second time, but clearly this is going to be at a higher level. In my humble opinion, you need to be involved with the process. A lot of these contractors will, screw drywall the wrong way, the way it shouldn't have been. In case you're doing the ISO wall, you have to be watching them. You have to make sure that they're doing things the proper way. So you have to be here almost hand holding, because if they're not doing it right, they can easily cover that up with plaster, or or whatever the case may be. They can easily hide their mistakes and you'll never realize that things were not done properly. So it is important that you're present, which is why I will not be attending Capital Audio Fest this year. I've decided that this is the first time in the last 6 years, I think it is, that I will not be doing the show. I don't have, first of all, I don't have any desire to repeat the same show, because quite frankly, from the other shows, I wouldn't call it my least desirable show, but it is the one that unfortunately draws my attention the very least. Every other show to me is superior. I think the Tampa show now, or whatever, Sarasota show, for me is a better show than the Capital Audio Fest show. It's already outgrown it, in my opinion. I was excited to see the Pacific show, but unfortunately that show is going to happen every other year, because honestly, the audience is just not there. And I don't expect for the Seattle show to really continue to grow, because apparently the audiophile community in Seattle isn't that big, and many people don't want to hop on a flight to go that far. And so I'll be staying grounded. I'll be here the remainder of the year, focusing on this build. I want to make sure this is done, hopefully by the first or second week of the year of 2026. If you have any questions, this is the time in which you ask me your questions, whatever they may be, whether they are system related or questions about my build, whatever it is that you have questions about. I am going to go down the list of questions right now. So make sure that when you ask me a question, you're very clear with your questions, okay? Or I'm going to bypass. Please hit the like button, okay? Subscribe to the channel. Do me that favor, okay? Let me look at the questions at this time. There's no way that ISO wall will stop the bass. Not a chance in hell, Jay. Well, I mean, listen, that is essentially what a lot of these reviewers are using, okay? They are using this ISO wall technology, double drywall, essentially decoupled from the beams, and it works as bass absorbers. Now, remember, I want to make sure I'm clear. I'm still doing acoustic treatment, folks. That is not my acoustic treatment. That is just part one of the build process. That is part one. Part two are the bass straps. Part two are all the acoustic treatments. That's happening. So don't think that's all I'm doing to the rooms. No, don't get it confused, okay? I am also putting acoustics, panels internally, okay, after the rooms are built. Sub J, wondering if there's a chance that you would do headphone content in the future as well. I think that's pretty interesting segment apart from a stereo system. Look, to be frank with you, it's not in my future path at this time. Headphones are great and all, but I'm just, my headphones are really only AirPods in AirPod Maxes. That's all I have. I have had other Sennheiser headphones and Bose and all of that, but I really haven't started to play at a higher level with more high-end headphones. I haven't had the opportunity to buy these incredible headphones. I know there are many great brands out there like Grado and all of that. I just don't have a lot of experience, and that's to me a new beginning, to be frank with you. And if I'm being honest, even more, it doesn't do much for my business. It may do something for like growing my channel, but I got news for many of you. This is something that actually gives me the opportunity to give you more information. Let me tell you this, folks. When you see a channel that has 300 subscribers, and this is inside information that many of you right now watching don't understand, but you'll understand it today. You see a channel with 300,000 subscribers, right? 400,000 subscribers. And you see a small channel with 50,000 subscribers, okay? I'm going to tell you something. Don't assume that the channel with 300,000 subscribers is making a hell of a lot more money than the channel with 50,000 subscribers. Don't assume that. I can assure you that's not the case, okay? And I don't mean revenue from YouTube. Yes, the channel with 300,000 subscribers will make more money because it's got more clicks. But I'm saying it's not just the clicks on YouTube. It's the opportunities that you generate. It's the hustle that you have. It's What are you doing besides making content? That really is what makes your needles move as an influencer, as a YouTuber, whatever you want to call me or call us, okay? And so when you see these channels with 300,000 subscribers, don't assume that, oh, he must be making a lot of money. It's got nothing to do with how much money you make. It's all about what you do outside of the YouTube space. That's point number one. Point number two, which you may not know, a channel with 300,000 subscribers may not have more influence than a channel with 50,000 subscribers. Yes, it may not necessarily create more influence than a channel that has 50,000 subs. The force probably behind that channel with 50,000 subscribers might be greater. For example, I'll give you an example. Maybe that smaller channel is actually responding to your comments more, engaging with you. See what I'm saying? The engagement factor of that channel that has 50,000 subs is greater than the channel with 300,000 subs, which might be the person that never responds to a single comment. Now, what those channels are great at are basically figuring out the YouTube algorithm, figuring out the words, the keywords, figuring out how to grow. But they may not necessarily really move the needles for a lot of companies. I'm telling you right now because I've had discussions with several people, including a coach, yes, a YouTube coach, that was explaining that to me just the other day. Do not assume for a second that those bigger channels are going to create far more influence on products. That might not be the case all the time. Okay, next question. Okay, Natural Beauty, Jay. Okay, Jay, please hear this. Please don't plan on the rooms being soundproof completely. Audio shows are in hotels, which all have the ISO wall, but the sound travels through the rooms. So hidden technology, you make a very good point. Thank you for that. I have to soundproof my rooms because of the fact that, remember, I live in a community, right? And I want to be respectful of my neighbors. Now, I don't have a house attached to my home, okay? I mean, I almost have to get in my car to drive over to the next house, to my neighbor's house. I mean, it's that far. But I want to keep a very private setting also. I don't want for sound to be leaking out of the rooms. I want to maintain it inside as much as possible. So, and that's just me being respectful of my neighbors, okay, which have been great so far. All right. Put acrylic sheets over the glass. Yes, actually, that's a great point. Okay, let me see. Okay, wouldn't all insulation have potential? That's a good question for someone else. To be honest with you, I don't know about this particular question of you or statement, comment. I couldn't tell you that. Okay, you see, this is a perfect example, right? So look what he's saying, hidden home technology. So he obviously has, according to him, experience building these rooms. I don't, but I also will say I have to go by what the experts are telling me. You being far away does nothing for me, like hidden home technology. You're probably in another state. If you showed up over here and you proved what you're talking to me about, you show me examples of the rooms, I could actually hear what you're saying, you might be the man doing the job here then. But you're not here. And people that are far away, unfortunately, it just they're not doing me any good. I need people that can show up and do the work so I can interact with them. I can't be hiring remote people. Now, if it's for the acoustic treatment, that's a different thing. But when it comes to building, I need contractors here that are willing to work. And so I have to be part of the process by doing the research as well. Okay. Build out a wider gap between the two walls and drape a hanging series of mass loaded vinyl. Pound for pound, best solution. Also consider pockets of charcoal. It holds more. Okay. I couldn't do a wider wall because of the fact that I will start compromising the width of the room, if that makes sense. I'm already pretty tight at 17 feet in width, and I need to stay with the entire golden ratio measurement. Do you have any hotel recommendations near you? And is there any general aviation near you? Of course. I mean, I am located in basically Houston, so that's 30 minutes away from my house, the airport. The airport is 30 minutes away, and there's plenty of hotels here in Houston. So, yes. And when that happens next year, that will be, I'll get an email sent out. I'll hopefully, you guys are already members of my website. You have to sign up on my website. Only those that are on my website that actually entered their email address and signed up for free. It doesn't cost you a dime, okay? I know you guys are always afraid of paying something, so it's free to sign up on my website. When I am done and I am in position to send those emails, those email blasts, it will only go to those that are registered on my site. So make sure today you go to my website, jaysaudiolab.com, and sign up for free so that when I'm ready to say this is happening this day and time, you get that email and you can RSVP if you are wanting to come. I am in the UK though. I'm offering in my advice and consultation for free. Oh, okay. No, it's fine. I appreciate it. But again, look, I get the advice, but unless you're here, unless you're doing the work, unless you're a part of it, all I can do is hear you. But hearing you doesn't mean I'm listening to you. You see what I'm saying? It's great. It's not that I don't trust what you're telling me about how to build a room. I have no reason to not believe you, right? But only a handful of people are here doing the work. So I have to work in conjunction with them and manufacturers to put together the best room possible. Maybe you're right. Maybe 5 years down the road, I realize what you said was true. Could happen. But unless these qualified opinions are in front of me or calling me or showing up and setting up an appointment to come and show me what they're talking about and convince me of whatever they're saying, all I can do is hear you, but it doesn't mean I'll listen to you. Okay, so any other questions that you guys may have about your system? It is your time to ask questions, okay? Let me know if you have any sort of question about your particular system needs. Okay. What else was I going to talk to you guys about? Now, as far as what else will be taking place, as you know, I'm going to be doing the electrical, not me. I'm going to hire that person. The contractor is going to bring someone. We're going to do 10 gauge wires for all outlets, 30 amp outlets. Okay. But they're going to be 10 gauge wires, copper, solid copper. 30 amp outlets, 5 outlets per room, one of which will be 220 volts. So I'll have at least a 220 volt outlet because you never know when I may bring a component that only works with a 220 volt outlet. So I may buy, who knows, relentless monoblocks at some point down the road and may want to use them. If I don't have 220 volt outlets, I cannot use them. So I think a real sound room should have at least one dedicated 220 volt outlet, period. So I'm going to put at least one per room so that I can plug in at least a pair of monoblocks in the same outlet, right? So a 30 amp outlet or a 40 amp outlet should be sufficient because I don't expect to be using that outlet for the long run. Let me see. Okay, so let me think about what else. The floor, I've already stated very clearly that I'm going to be doing epoxy. Okay, I've already done the research. I think it looks the part. I don't want to do vinyl strips. I was originally doing the vinyl strip, but to be frank with you, I am afraid of of damaging, okay, a lot of this stuff. And as you know, I have some heavy equipment in place at the moment. I have a lot of heavy equipment, a lot of speakers that are big, heavy crates. And so I need a floor to resist scuff marks, to resist any sort of heavy weight on top of it. And epoxy, based on my own research and people that I've spoken to, is designed to even have your car parked on top of it. And it doesn't get damaged or scuffed or anything. Okay, so epoxy is to me the color of choice. I want to do a beautiful glossy white color. Why? Because I want to do a contrast of a glossy floor with beautiful LEDs, right? A beautiful wall color, whether it be a nice blue color, something pretty. So you have an understanding of what I'm thinking about. I want to have my racks, for example, of a glossy white color. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? I want to have this cool color scheme inside the rooms. This is exactly the best way to describe it. Cool color scheme inside both rooms with enough lighting. It's exactly what I'm thinking about. All right. Let me think about this. Have I tried barbecue? I have tried, Rachel, some barbecue. I just do not know yet if it's been the best barbecue so far. I get a lot of recommendations for different people, so I definitely need to probably talk to some more individuals that can point us in the right direction as far as which are the best barbecue places here in Texas. Okay. Fernando, hey Jay, any thoughts on Total DAX? Since you are very familiar with brands like MSB, Lampensator, or DCS, could you compare them? I don't have a lot of experience. I don't have any experience actually with Total DAC, Fernando, and I don't really like to give opinions on components that I have not had the pleasure of owning. I have seen Total DAC at the Munich show, a lot of chassis stacked on top of each other. If I go by my memory, I think it's a great quality product, Total DAC. I do know of some people who love it, who are completely just shocked every time by their digital components, but I don't have any qualified opinion for you, Fernando. And I want to always be honest. If I have never put it through the ringer, have never put it in my lab, I cannot really give you a qualified opinion. The only thing I can say is a lot of folks love Total DAX. B&W Center Channel, is it worth biamping? 100% is worth it. You guys need to understand what I'm about to say. Okay, if your speakers can take biamping, you need to biamp your speakers. I repeat, whether it is a center channel, left speaker, right speaker, surrounds, whatever the case may be, you need to biamp it if the speakers allow you to biamp. Please hear me loud and clear. Biamping drastically changes the performance of your loudspeaker. Drastically, not by little, drastically, by a lot. Biamping is so important. I wish every speaker could be biamped. Okay, it is just, first of all, you have an amplifier in charge of the bass section of the speaker. That right there is important. That right there gives you enough control over those low registers. And then you obviously have the mid-range and the high frequency handled by the second channel. You have no clue how good your speaker can sound until you biamp it, assuming that it can be biamped. I'm telling you right now, biamp it. It doesn't matter what is the job of the speaker. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, I'm going to look into that, Stephen. Thank you for that. Jay, if your room has southern exposure, please consider some warm colors. Cool can be a bit depressing. Interesting. Interesting. I actually feel it's the opposite, but I have no reason to not believe what you're saying. Hi Jay, just a thought. Can you not put your storage room in the middle of two rooms? It's not going to be in the middle of two rooms. My storage room is not going to be in the middle of two rooms at all. It's not going to. My rooms will be next to each other, adjacent to each other. Thank you. Use a Y splitter in two different channels. I have a V10 and an AM10. Yeah, you could use a Y splitter. You can. Absolutely. Okay. Jay, do you believe in near field listening for those who have a small rooms? Have you experienced high-end speakers in that sort of configuration? If yes, what did you think? Near field listening is so special in my opinion. Some of the best sound systems I've heard were actually near field listening. Okay, because number one, remember, you're closer to the speakers. The path between the sound waves, right? The sound waves that come out of your speaker and that come to you are actually with less interference. The room, meaning, is not involved. And so when you have a perfect triangle very close together inside a room, you are eliminating all the walls around the room, including the roof. In my opinion, near field listening it's just amazing. You get the feeling that you're inside the music. You get the feeling that you are part of like the performance, that you were on the stage, if that makes sense. So I wish I could do near field listening more often. But if you have a small room and all you can do is near field listening, I'm telling you right now, do not feel sad. It's still one of the best sounds or sound systems that I have ever heard. That type of approach is what I mean, has been always impressive to me anyway. Always. Don't overcomplicate your room build. Just divide the room depending on standing waves. Don't make square rooms. Yeah, I'm never going to make square rooms. That's not the intent. As I said to you, the rooms are going to be 25 by 17 by 11 feet tall. So it's going to be a nice, very close to the golden ratio. Okay. That's extremely close to what the recommended measurements are for room, high, for a very high performing room. Okay. So, let me think about this. Any other questions you guys may have? So overall, the feeling that I have here is that I am going to do something quite special when the time is right. And by the way, I think things will get started in the next 5 to 7 days. And the moment things begin, you will be part of the action. So you know what you need to do right now, right? You need to hit that like button and subscribe, because that way, when I start releasing these videos, you're going to get these notifications. Jay has just commenced the build process. Join him. Jay has started the electrical. Jay has started, the floor has started, the wall attachments and all of that. You guys need to be watching these videos because it's only going to do you better for the future. It's only free knowledge transfer. This is why you need to hit the notifications button right now on your phone or tablet. That little bell icon, hit that. Hit that right now. Also, subscribe to the channel. Okay, do these things so that you're not missing out content, because when it starts, folks, I am doing videos. I don't care if it's every day. I'm doing videos every day. Even if it's 5, 7 minutes, every day you're going to see something different. And you need to be part of the process so that you understand where we are every single week, what stage we're in. If you miss it, then you're going to lose track of what's going on. Do you understand that? That's why it's important. Okay, let me see. All right, let me see. Hi, Jay. Hi, Jay. If you'll do glossy floor, you'll see the reflection of the screen on the floor and it will kill you. So I'm not doing any home cinema. These rooms will be completely dedicated to channel rooms. There will not be any video done on these 2 sound rooms. Okay, I know I never said that, but there will not be any home theater at all. The screen is gone. We're no longer going to do a screen. Now we're doing pure 2-channel systems, 2-channel rooms. My theater will be in the house on the 2nd floor, and that will take place next year. You guys will be part of the action there too. When I start building there and I bring contractors to do phase 2, I want you guys to see what we can do in that space. Okay. I don't know. I have ideas, but my theater will be in the house now on the 2nd level, dedicated space. And I will never watch movies in my sound rooms again. It's not going to be a multi-purpose room. What made you decide to make 2 equal sized rooms versus 1 large room and a small room? Well, what made me realize that is, to be frank with you, is number one, the 2 sizes of the rooms are based on the golden ratio. Okay. And so that's reason number 1 is the golden ratio, right? And I feel like if I have 2 equal sized rooms, right, I can actually compare, for example, 2 systems. I can compare 2 systems because much more accurately, because the dimensions of the room are the same. Does that make sense? So if I am in room A, and let's say hypothetical, let's say in room A, I am with a $40,000 Wilson audio speaker. It's an example. And we have, I don't know, Solution Electronics, right? The smaller sibling Solution, the 3 series, for example, right? We listen to that. Then I tell you, let's go to the big room. Let's go to the Cosmo Object room, excuse me. Now that room is the same size as the one we just heard. We go to that room, and in that room, I have a bigger Wilson, and I have the higher end solution electronics. Now, you as a intelligent buyer can actually do a real apples to apples as far as what you get by going from the more affordable Wilson to the more expensive Wilson, from the more affordable solution to the more expensive solution electronics, because the rooms are identical in size. You see what I'm saying? I'm eliminating that variable. That's why when I put both rooms the same size, we are eliminating the room variable at that point in time, right? And we can do real apples to apples comparisons. That way, when you come out of my reference system, you might say, you know what, Jay, it's better, but man, that system right here, Jay, same size room, same layout, it just sounds to me like 85-90% of the more expensive room. These are the takeaways. If I put you in a smaller room, the room will have a lot to say about how that system sounds. You see what I'm saying? It's an important variable. The most important variable is the room, period. But when you keep that variable the same, there won't be any deviation in terms of the performance if both rooms are the same. You'll be essentially able to compare lower level against higher level much more accurately. This is why I want to do that. Does that make sense? Where will my store surplus gear? My store is online. Everything that I sell is always online. You can always check out my website, jaysaudiolab.com. A lot of the stuff that I have here is for sale as well. So if you're looking for something, always look on my website. And if there is something that you may not see that you're interested in, reach out to me. I might be able to get it for you. Okay. So I have a lot of great connections. I have a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of dealer friends, manufacturers, which you will see here when I open doors. You will see manufacturers in here, reps from the different manufacturers be here. That's part of the plan. I'm going to stage 2. I'm setting the stage for something larger than before. And the only way for me to do this is to actually show a bigger operation, larger facility, larger rooms, much more seriousness when it comes to what I do and the product that I'm trying to display before your eyes. Okay, so that's essentially what you have to keep in mind. This is growth. What you're seeing right now, this is growth. This is my hard work and dedication from that small garage where you guys follow me on day one back in 2019, I think it was, or 18. When I started this channel, you saw me in a small room. What you see now is essentially growth, the growth that I have gone through. Okay, that's all it is. And if I did it, so can you. But you got to be willing to put in the work. The problem is we stay very content as individuals. It's normal. Some of you live in Europe. My wife's side of the family is from Spain, in case you do not know. I went to Spain. I loved Spain. I love their food. I love the weather. I loved the way they live life in Spain. Why? Because it's about work and then hanging out by a plaza, drinking wine, people watching. No one's worried about a Mercedes Benz. No one's worried about an expensive home. No one's worried about any jewelry or Rolexes or anything like that, right? It's a lot more chill. My problem is in the US, when you think that way, you get comfortable. You don't want to do things that challenge you because, as an example, right? You may take home, I don't know, hypothetical, $1,000 a week, let's say, okay, in the US. And that is sufficient to pay your rent, your car payment, gas, food, electric, and have a little bit of money left for traveling. So you're not going to go far above and beyond to generate more money, to make more money, to put a better life ahead of you and your family. So you get complacent because you're making enough to get by. You're not struggling, but you're also not achieving perhaps greater things because you're not willing to push yourself harder. I was there. I was getting to that position in Florida, right? I was generating enough. I was comfortable. I had zero issues paying my mortgage. I had zero issues paying cars, nothing. I was super comfortable, folks. I just needed to work 2 days a week, 3 max, and that's it. I was fine, fine, enough to travel and do what I wanted to do. But I also felt like I wanted something bigger, greater. I wanted to just really grow to a whole new level. And this is where I am now. This is the result. And so you're going to see that exponential growth over time. Eventually, you might come here and go out there and tell your friends, man, I went to Jay's. Man, those rooms are killer. Wow, what a display of electronics, incredible sound, the attention to detail, the way he treated us, the wine he gave us, the whiskey he gave us. Like that dude has got something going in there. It's really, really, really special. You got to get out there and visit Jay. That's what I want to do. I want to make you feel different here. And it will come, but it's taking time. And I'm not going to lie, it takes a lot of money too. Jay, will you do home theater content, Chris? I will do probably a small series, Chris, in the future when I get to my room, my theater in the second floor of the home, Chris. I expect to do something, maybe 1 or 2 episodes, so that home theater enthusiasts can see what I did. Yes, but it's not going to be like core content for my channel. Okay, it might be a small deviation of what I do. Because remember, when you're a YouTuber, you need to stay on topic. If your topic is cars, you cannot be reviewing mopeds. You understand me? You cannot be reviewing motorcycles. If you are a car reviewer, you stick to cars. You're not going to be reviewing motorcycles. You see what I'm saying? So that's what you have to keep in mind. Yeah, you are missing out if you don't put a small screen, recent super high quality music and live shows on YouTube. Um, yeah, that's true, Joe. That's true. But quite frankly, Joe, I never heard my system in the previous house through my system. I never heard my YouTube videos through my system. I always had a theater. I had in wall speakers, and so I can build those in a dedicated space in here in the house. So I don't really need to mix and match anymore. Before I had to, because I had no choice. I only had one room, right? But I see your point because I used to watch the YouTube channel, and watch like music videos from the 80s while I was having a drink and listen to music. But I never really played this music through my main system. It was through my in walls, by the way. And I was pretty happy with what I heard. Your goal is to become a high-end audio dealer well, no, it's not. Yes and no, Rachel. Part of it is to obviously, I've always been a dealer for some brands. Everyone knows that. Strom Tank, Artisan Audio, Authentic Audio Image Cables. Those are my main core brands, right? 3 small brands, okay? And I do quite well with them. But my operation is not like you can just show up and come and listen. Number one, right? It's not going to be a revolving door. Number two. And it's more like a conversation with people that are serious about hi-fi, people that want to come in here, some of the best electronics that money can buy today in one exciting sound room, right? And then hopefully we can put together some sort of deal, but it's not going to be like a commercial operation that you can come in and out of. It's not like that, Rachel. So, but I do understand your question. Now, it's more of a private setting. Think of it as more of a virtual showroom. Does that make sense? Virtual in the sense that I operate mainly on the airwaves of YouTube, right? And I don't necessarily have like advertisement out front, or at the mall to come and visit me. None of that, right? Mine is a virtual thing. People can fly in here. I'll pick them up from the airport, one person at a time. I'm also not going to have 10 people at once. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be like one-on-one attention. You know what I'm saying? So if you came in and you wanted to buy something from me, you just needed to listen to both and then make your decision. It's only you and I. Like, there's not going to be 3 people here, 4 people. It's only one, you and I. So it's a lot more of an intimate feeling. You see what I'm saying? Residential, commercial is more like anybody can show up and at any time, cars can pull in and out. It's not like that. That's not what I'm doing here. And I don't expect it because, quite frankly, Rachel, how many people can really drop $100,000 to $200,000 at once in hi-fi? Not many, right? It's just it's a niche. So I don't expect for that to be the case. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. Very nice, Stephen. Maybe you'll be part of the show, of the whole thing. Which, by the way, I plan to do something. maybe next year. I wanted to make this announcement too at some point. My wife and I will do like a podcast together. The wife of an audiophile and me, with a beautiful backdrop, with lighting that says Jay's Audio Lab, two beautiful chairs, and beautiful lighting so that we can debate, my wife and I. We want to do something along the lines of, for example, tell us about, you know, I'll ask her questions. For example, like B&W speakers, right? And she can tell me, I never heard of them, right? And then we can explain to her what they are. Or she may be like, do you remember that speaker that was tall and big and, and had this, glossy white piece on the bottom? Like, when she starts describing, it's very funny too, right? And so I love that. Like, oh, what about those panels that you have, the Martin Logans that look like Chinese, uh, what do you call these panels, like the magnet pans? She said they look like those Chinese panels, that dividers where you people change behind them. She said magnet pans kind of look like that. So we want to make a funny podcast to talk about different brands, also whatever she finds as like the best sounding room when she went to a show with me, future shows that is. We can come back and talk about. It will tell me, okay, now let me see your notes. What do you think was the best room and why? Okay. And so I'm not even going to instruct her how to say things. She's going to speak from like her gut, from the hip. She's going to say things however they come to mind without me influence her. And I think a lot of people would love that because you get to meet the wife of an audiophile and how she can articulate things on her own, right? And maybe a lot of women would actually be drawn to my channel more often. Oh, wow, I can't wait to see what she has to say because I feel like she feels. Like I'm also going to put her on blast. Like, you don't even let me listen to music in the car because you're always doing something with your phone. And, or do you really like music or not like music? Like, we're going to do a little bit of a nice back and forth. So there's going to be something that we have planned in the future. I want to do more cool stuff, more cool content as well as part of the channel. So hopefully you guys would be excited to see me debate my wife about hi-fi, and obviously let her be her own person, right? And I think it's going to be great for my own brand to actually grow it more if I include my wife as part of the whole Jay's Audio Lab brand. Jay, have you ever heard Air Acoustics? Yes, sir. I used to own the Air Acoustics. I think it's called the 20 preamplifier, an amazing preamplifier. I really think that Air was one of the best brands way back when. I don't know where they are today. I know that they are trying to regroup and rebrand themselves, actually come out with great quality products. To be frank with you, I don't know how well they are doing financially. I cannot say if that's a brand that you should be buying or not buying. I don't want to be hurting a brand by saying the wrong thing. All I know is after the former owner, CEO, designer of the brand passed, they have been trying to find themselves. Okay, they have been trying to regroup. They have been trying to build the brand from the ground up again. And so I don't know how good their products are today, but I do know, okay, if you're looking for a quality preamplifier, that Air 20 is a fantastic preamplifier. Really one of the best preamplifiers I've ever heard. Any other questions, folks? Let me see if anybody wants me to answer a question. Post it right now. Okay, just get an Ecotech. You can never clean up AC line power. Yeah, probably so. I agree. I mean, I am definitely going to definitely be working on my power. It's such a crucial part, okay, of a sound system. Even if you only have the money to buy a quality power conditioner, please do it. Shunyata has great power conditioners. I really like their stuff. StromTank, of course, I'm a dealer for StromTank. Here I am promoting Shunyata, and I'm a dealer for StromTank. You see what I'm saying? Speaking from the heart. Speaking from the heart. I'm a dealer for StromTank, and I'm here talking great things about Shunyata because they build quality product. I'm not going to lie. They do build quality product. Shunyata builds quality product. I have no shame in saying that. And even though I sell StromTank, okay, and I believe in StromTank, and I've sold a lot of StromTank product, a lot, some of the best stuff out there, in my opinion. Strong Tank builds today. And if you have a shitty grid, your power is unstable, it comes in and out, you live on an island, you have problems listening to music, a lot of your electronics are basically blowing up because of the instability of your power. I think Storm Tank is a perfect solution. I sold Storm Tank, a lot of Storm Tanks in Puerto Rico for a reason, because power is unstable. If you live in the islands, come to me, send me a message. I can sell you the right Storm Tank for you. Okay, if you live in a certain part of the US that has terrible power, you want to be off the grid, Storm Tank is a great and the only solution when it comes to being off the grid, in my opinion. Okay, especially those of you that live out there in the middle of nowhere, you want to have a great sounding system. I encourage you to buy a Storm Tank from me. It's really the only option. Really the only option when it comes to being off the grid. Okay, great performing products. But again, at the same time, I'll say it, Shunyata is a great brand too, man. Maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll become a dealer for Shunyata in the future. I don't know. I'm just speaking right now, whatever's on my mind. But Shunyata is a great brand. I got a lot of their stuff in here. I have no shame in saying that. And I'm a dealer for Authentic Audio Image, a Kivo brand that I use successfully with some of the best sound systems I've had. Okay, but that doesn't mean Shunyata is a crappy brand. I don't even understand. Okay, let me say this. I don't even understand why some people talk shit. Okay, yes, I'll say it, about other products because they have their own product that they represent. Let me put it this way, okay? And I'm not gonna give out names, okay? I'm not gonna tell on people or piss anybody off, but I actually have received texts of people who have told me, I'm done with my dealer. Why? Well, because I bought X, Y, and Z, and he said to me, that is trash. That's not even that great. Why did you buy that? You should have bought what I told you, which is what I sell. So all he did was to tell me I did everything wrong. All he did was to essentially gaslight me. All he did was to say, I just have absolutely no idea of what I'm doing when it comes to hi-fi. You should just listen to me and do as I say. Why are you dealing with dealers like that? Why are you going to dealers that talk to you like that? Why are you dealing with individuals that will belittle your work? Why? You're spending money. Clearly, you've done business with those dealers in the past. It may not have been at that particular moment, but they got upset at the fact that you bought something else. My problem with it is that there is no reason for you to talk shit about a brand because you feel your brand is the only brand that is amazing, that works well. If you have Solution and I sell, I don't know, Goldman or CH Precision, right? You bought Solution, for example. Let's say I sell CH Precision. Dude, that's a great product. Solution. It's from Switzerland as well. Okay. They sound amazing as well. It's a great option. It's a great option as well. Okay. If you are buying Magical, but you decided, okay, I'm going to do Wilson's, it's a great fucking brand too, man. Wilson Natty is a great fucking brand too, man. It's a great product as well. Magical is a great product. Rockport is a great product. All of these brands are great brands. But sometimes I think the problem lies with dealers themselves. Dealers love to, unfortunately, attack a lot of other brands they don't have on hand. And here's the kicker. A year later, all of a sudden, they are a dealer for that brand. You see it all the time. I see it all the time. They talk shit to you about a brand only to become a dealer for that brand 12 to 16 months later. You see what I mean? Because it's the flavor of the month. Also, a lot of dealers are hi-fi dealers, but they also, in my opinion, are like ice cream shops. Ice cream shops in the sense that they have the ice cream flavor of the month. I've seen it all the time. Do you guys remember Hi-Fi Rose? Do you remember that streamer Hi-Fi Rose that was making a lot of noise about 2 years ago? You'll remember that, right? At shows, it was like $5,000, incredible. It worked as a preamplifier. It had a beautiful display. Do you all remember Hi-Fi Rose? You know how many? You know how many dealers took on that line because that was the flavor of the month? Tons of dealers. Every dealer was selling Hi-Fi roast after that because everyone was calling for Hi-Fi roast. So they had absolutely no real loyalty to their brands. They just chased whatever was selling at that moment. You see what I mean? And then what happened to Hi-Fi roast? I don't hear about it anymore. That does not mean it's not a great product, but do we hear about Hi-Fi roast now? Are the phones ringing off the hook for Hi-Fi roast? They are not. So now those dealers are no longer dealers for Hi-Fi roast. This is what I'm saying. And so I have a problem when dealers are talking shit about brands they don't represent. To me, it's just not, that's not a good dealer. A good dealer would say, I hear you on what you bought. It's okay because it's your money. At the end of the day, I don't tell you what to buy with your own money. However, give me an opportunity to show you what I think is better. Are you going to be home next week? Okay, I happen to live 45 minutes from you. Now, remember, assuming that you are a person that has bought from that dealer, you're an established customer. He drives it out to you, he connects it, he lets you listen in your own space, and your ears will tell you the truth. You may like it or dislike it, but at least you had a shot at listening to what he had to say. That's a good dealer, man. That's a good dealer right there. That's a dealer that can tell you, I think this is better. Let me prove it to you. Give me a shot at proving it to you. And you should, as the consumer, let that dealer have the opportunity to prove you wrong the right way, which is by listening. That's to me, that's a great dealer. But those dealers that are going to attack a brand because it's not that great, because they feel it's crap, and a lot of times these are dealers that are sore that cannot even carry that brand that you bought. They may have been trying to acquire the line for years, and that product, that brand never wanted to work with that dealer, which is why they're bitter and sour and talk shit about the brand that you may have today. This is how things work in Hi-Fi. And I encourage you to stay away from dealers who do that to you. No need to be with a dealer who's going to attack your choices. I do think there is an opportunity for the dealer to tell you that he feels he has something superior and give me the opportunity to prove it to you. That, I think, a dealer should have the chance to do that with you. No question about it. And maybe at the end of the day, you still prefer your product and there's nothing wrong. At least he thought what he has is better, but you find that you like better what you bought. Remember, at the end of the day, this is all about flavors, subjective. It's all about what checks your boxes at the end of the day. I just delivered yesterday or 2 days ago a Solution 701 stereo amplifier, the only one in the country, and a Solution 727 for an in-home trial for one of my great customers. Now, this is an established customer. This is someone that has bought from me. This is someone who has really helped me and my business. And yes, indirectly, my family, right? By purchasing equipment from me. So he has a great sound system and a beautiful home. And he says to me, Jay, I have JMF Audio Electronics. Now, this is a French brand, okay? They are mainly dedicated to pro audio, and they decided to venture into the hi-fi world, right? Home audio. I don't have hands-on experience with JMF. I cannot tell you if JMF electronics are good or bad. I will not make any statements that can compromise my judgment, okay? I'm not gonna do that. My credibility, excuse me. So he said to me, I wanna try your Solution Electronics. I said, sure. We talked about it. We decided, okay, bring it to me. I drove 3.5 hours away, 3.5 hours to San Antonio one way, 7-hour round trip. Delivered it, pulled it out of the box. We installed it. I sat there to make sure everything was working, that there were no noises, pops, weird things happening. Turned it on, made sure that for 3 hours that was working perfectly fine before I took off, right? Now, why did I do that? I'm not a dealer for a Solution. I'm not. Okay, because I want to give people that customer service experience. That's what I want to do, right? And he is able to compare JMF and Solution. And to update you, He calls me yesterday saying that he is very impressed with Solution. He is absolutely stunned with what that 701 Stereo Plus amplifier that I have and the 727 is doing in his system and the attributes that is bringing to the table that JMF may not do. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying, I told him, I said, Solution will, in my opinion, outperform JMF. Prove it. On my way. He's now listening to Solution and he sees it and he realizes, damn, why did you let me do this, Jay? I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back now to JMF. I told you, it's high caliber shit. Same thing if it would have been CH Precision M10s with the L10. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff, right? So now he's playing with my Solution gear for the next 7 days while he makes up his mind as far as what he wants to do. Does he want to buy it off of me and perhaps me taking the JMF on trade so I can sell it? That's fine. But the point I'm trying to make is that's what a good dealer should do, man. Never belittle product that you don't own or represent or don't have access to. You just say, I believe in what I sell. Let me show you why. Let me put my money where my mouth is. And that's exactly what I have done with him. Okay. So remember, when you're selecting a dealer, okay, next time you're talking to a dealer, give him the opportunity to prove you wrong. If you bought something that he disagrees, that he probably feels it's not that great, no problem. Let him have his opinion. Then tell him, prove it. What do you think is better? Okay, let me listen to it. I hear you loud and clear. If I like it, we'll put together something. We'll make something happen. That's what you do as a consumer. Give him the opportunity. Let him put his money where his mouth is. That's what I encourage you guys, as consumers, to do. You have nothing to lose at the end of the day. I want to ask you guys, what have been your experiences with, let's say, products that had a lot of hype on the magazines, for example, and when you brought them home, you felt they were underwhelming? If you have any story to share with me, please put it right now in the comments section. I want to read your stories about products that were hyped up on a magazine and that they were completely underwhelming once you bought it, brought it home, and assuming that you set it up for success, meaning you had the right power cord, the right power conditioner, the right interconnects, right? Make sure that I say that, okay? Tell me what these products were. Stephen Barnes, Snowman, while I agree about the profit margins, I'll disagree with the snake oil. I've done too many blind tests and know the difference because I once used to believe they did nothing. Let me see what this Snowman is saying. Power conditioners are mostly snake oil. Great profit margins, though. Okay, Snowman. I am going to argue your statement very respectfully. I'm not going to trash you. I am not going to disrespect you. I am not going to say that you're wrong. I'm going to tell you, in my experience, power conditioners are a key component of any hi-fi system. A well-designed system will always have some sort of power conditioner. And if you don't have power conditioners, then at least you have incredible dedicated outlets, 20 amp outlets with solid copper cable. You have really taken care of your electrical at the very least, okay? To say that power conditioners do not really make a difference and they're snake oil, unfortunately, is a very ignorant comment in my opinion. That doesn't mean that I have to attack you. That doesn't mean I have to trash you. Maybe this is your experience, but to me, it might be a telling sign that your system may not be revealing enough to show you the differences when it comes to quality power conditioning. You have to understand the importance of power conditioning, or power cords or cables in general. They are so important. Whether you use a battery pack like Danny from GR Research did a long time ago, when I went to see him, right, he was using batteries, car batteries. Clearly, he believes in power conditioning. That's a form of power conditioning. He did do that. So It's something that should never be overlooked by anyone. Anyone watching me right now, anyone. Please, if you have a sound system, please get yourself a power conditioner. I'm not even going to give you names or brands or prices. You need to get yourself a power conditioner, whatever you can afford. Okay, buy it from a reputable brand. PS Audio has some nice units there. What's the name of the other one? Puritan or something. I think it is one that's being sold online for like $1,500. You need to get a power conditioner, whatever your budget allows. There are many great deals on old Shunyata stuff, like retired Shunyata power conditioners, Denalis that are really being sold for very affordable prices. You need to get that. I promise you, you'll remember this video. You'll remember me. The moment you connect that in your system, you'll be like, holy shit, Jay was right all along. He was right. There is huge benefits with proper power conditioning. Okay, so do yourself a favor. Maybe you got the wrong one, Snowman. Maybe you bought the wrong power conditioner. I don't know, or something wasn't working. In case you have tried something in the past that you called snake oil, try another one. I recommend Shunyata for affordable stuff that's been discontinued. You can find it for incredible deals online. It doesn't have to be current. Buy the old Denali. Trust me, when you plug it in, you'll be like, shit. Yeah, Jay was right. Was right all along. Snowman, you can clean up the house power so much the better. Yeah, if you can clean up the house, this is what I was just saying, right? The house power is so important. Absolutely. Okay, any questions that you guys may have, post them in the comment section, excuse me, and I will get to those. Let me see. See, we start with clean power from the source before it enters the home. Okay, agreed. But Snowman, keep in mind one thing, Snowman. Okay, houses like mine, if I'm going to start with clean power from the outside, which I agree with you, I'm not disagreeing with you, dude, that's going to be a ton of money to run a copper cable from where my main breaker is that enters the house and feed my future sound rooms, okay, with a thick 4 gauge copper cable, right? To feed all these rooms. I mean, that is crazy expensive. That is, dude, that could be $20,000. You understand me? $30,000. And then I have to dig up the ground, okay, because remember, in my home, all the lines are buried underneath. Do you know how much money that would be to hire someone to bury that cable underground to bring it into this room? So sometimes that's not a possibility for some people. This is why I said if you cannot fix your power, the incoming signal from the outside, buy a power conditioner. Anybody else? Any other questions, guys? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, please. It's important that you guys stay afloat of all my future content that hopefully starts being released next week. Okay. Let me see. Have you bought something that failed but wasn't worth fixing due to the? Yes. So I bought something that failed. You know what? Off the top of my head, if I'm being honest, no, Carlos, I don't think I have. But it's been such a long time, Carlos, to be honest with you, that I can't recall. Let me think. Have I bought something that wasn't worth fixing? Don't remember right now, Carlos. Maybe I may have, but I can't remember what it was. Maybe a receiver, maybe like a Marantz receiver or something like that, or a Denon receiver in my early days that was too much to fix. A lot of times, it's just not worth fixing it, to be honest with you. Why do you want floors despite treating everything else? Well, it's not going to be hardwood floors. See what I'm saying, B2 Labs? This is what I'm saying, okay? A lot of people are not watching the live streams, okay? I've never said I'm going to do hardwood floors. Never said that. See what I'm saying? That you all need to watch the whole thing if you have the time, okay? You should watch the whole entire live stream right now that I just started, okay? This is an example of what I'm saying. I'm not doing hardwood floors. I'm not doing that. I'm doing epoxy floors. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Could I do a suspended floor? Yeah, for another 30 grand. No thanks. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing a suspended floor. Why did you decide to your flooring? I'm not sure. What did you decide? I decided to do epoxy. Okay, beautiful white glossy epoxy floor that's going to absorb a lot. It's going to lower the noise, and also you can pretty much drive over the epoxy floor with a 18-wheeler truck if you want to, and there's no big deal. It's just fine. And so it's going to be more resistant to traffic, high traffic, especially the traffic that I'm going to have from heavy equipment, heavy crates, heavy speakers. Also, I want a glossy white finish. I've decided that's what I want to see here, a beautiful glossy white. And then I'm going to throw a nice sectional rug in the middle of the floor, okay? Do you think a port plugs would damage a full range tower speaker? No, some speakers have that. Some speakers come with port plugs to kind of tune the bass to your liking because maybe you're getting too much bass overhang or too much bass chuff. That's what those port plugs are for. So, no. Well, so my floor is currently concrete, guys. Okay, so the epoxy is on top of concrete. You see what I'm saying? And to me, the epoxy floor is simply going to allow me to. It's a fact. It works really well for acoustics. Look it up, Google it. It actually works really well for room acoustics. Now, again, I'm not a floor expert. I'm not pretending to be an acoustic designer. I'm not pretending to be, all of this. But ultimately, keep in mind one last thing, okay? Ultimately, I'm also going to put sectional rugs on it. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, it's like I can either do the crappy vinyl strips or a glossy white epoxy for the same money. So for me, I opted for epoxy because I want a polished, glossy finish on the floor. That's why. Any thoughts on MPD8 DAC? No thoughts at this time. I keep hearing it's a great DAC. I unfortunately do not have a lot of hands-on experience with it. I don't have, enough seat time to tell you this is what it does and it doesn't do. Okay. The word on the street is that it's defeating DACs that are 100K, $200,000. I don't know if that's true. I'm not going to speak negatively on the brand because I don't have any ownership, any prior ownership of this product. Is it touted as a great brand? Yes, it's touted as being one great DAC. I just don't know how it compares to the big heavy hitters. I don't know how it compares to MSB. I don't know how it compares to DCS. Uh, the truth is that the only way to know this is to actually do a proper shootout. And maybe in the future, again, when these rooms are built, that's when I'm going to have the chance to really get to compare maybe the stack or a future model that they may have against the big players like DCS, MSB, Wadax, and so on. Okay, that shootouts, I want to do shootouts in the future. I want to do live shootouts in here with cameras and people in here that can actually sit on chairs and take turns, and we can do A and B comparisons of, let's say, the Wadax versus the MSB versus the DCS Vivaldi, and I can actually interview people real time in here and tell them, what do you guys think? I mean, all three DACs were plugged into the wall for 3 days. Give us an opinion. I know it's a very inaccurate way of doing A and B shootouts because, as I said to you, there is such thing as settling in time for every electronic, every cable, but we got to do what we got to do. And so I want to do those real time comparisons with people here, giving their opinion and me putting the mic in front of them and asking them, which is your favorite and why? Tell us why. And tell us about your system. What do you have? That's what I think is fun about the hobby, not just sitting down by yourself. Michael, this is an interesting point. I already told the wife she's going to have to be mopping. No, I'm kidding. No, so it's true, Michael, but at the same time, I think that because, as I said to Rachel before, I'm not going to have, this is not going to be like a line of people, okay? It's not going to be like a line of people waiting to be inside. None of that. I do agree with you. It's a great point, but at the same time, besides the times in which people come in and out, I plan to take my shoes off when I have to enter the room and to exit the room. So more 90% of the time, it's only going to be me. And because I don't want to clean it every time, I'm going to be more careful with it. When people show up, that's a different story. I know there's going to be an upkeeping, right? I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleaning, but that's fine. That comes with it. That's like vacuuming. If I had a carpet, Michael, instead of a floor, if it was just a carpet, I would have to vacuum as well. Can you put a room addition on your house? Extend the family room. The family room is inside the main house, Hi-Fi Joe. So we do have a family room. It's already inside the main house. This structure is external to the house. It's not inside the house. Jay, on the subject of clean power and power conditioners, what are your thoughts on running on the extra ground wire? Puritan offers a box that allows you to ground to your components. Thoughts? I mean, grounding is important. Am I an expert at grounding? No. I do have someone that I'm talking to about grounding, and I do think that it will be another part of the project that I will have to complete at a later date. Because unfortunately, I cannot afford to spend $20,000 in doing the proper grounding. For me, it's going to be I have a limit, guys. As I said, I can get stupid crazy here. Okay. And if I don't watch my funds, I can end up spending $300,000 here. And that's something that I cannot do. So, but I think as the business begins to move forward, get more, more business generated from these two rooms, whether it's virtual or in person, that can open up doors for me to continue to fine tune the room to bigger and greater heights. Thanks, Ron. Oh, thank you, Martin. Really appreciate it, Martin. Thank you so much for the contribution, man. I am glad that you would contribute, to the channel. So I'm going to take care of your question right now. Few of us can compare expensive audio gear in person, so we need to support honest reviewers. Martin, thank you. I mean, that's the whole intent. Um, Look, I do not disagree with what you're saying, but I also think, okay, Martin, I do think that there are ways of giving your opinion without trashing brands. There are ways of saying why you prefer brand A over brand B without having to shit on a particular brand. No one gains anything by trashing products, by trashing manufacturers. No one gains anything. All we do is essentially close shop for a brand that's only trying to make it. Okay. And I think what needs to happen is, to your point, a lot more clarity and a lot more transparency when it comes to reviewing things. Um, Personally, I have gone away from saying negative things about products. Instead, what I do, excuse me, is to let you all read between the lines. If you're a smart person, if you know how to read between the lines, I think you pretty much know my sentiments on a lot of different brands, on a lot of different products, on a lot of different things and topics. Usually, if you don't see it in my lab, it's either one, I have attempted, and by the way, I have attempted to put certain brands on the floor, and for whatever reason, it hasn't happened. Or two, I just have no interest in the brand. And that could be for other reasons that I cannot disclose. Okay. But overall, Martin, I agree with your assessment. I agree with what you're saying. If you don't support those people that you believe in, how the hell can they continue to stay objective about their findings? Many people in this industry, and I got to call it like I see it, many of you want to see plane crashes instead of plane landings. And that's very sad because at the end of the day, remember, we as human beings want to see accidents more than successes. And that's because unfortunately we're drawn to that. We're drawn to that. But rather than creating negative narratives about products and saying negative things about the product, I think we should just focus on those that are really doing a great service to the hi-fi world. Okay. For example, I'll give you an example. Let's just say hypothetical scenario. I am getting brand A. And let's say this brand has my attention, and I have heard great things about this brand, and I've heard that this brand performs really well. So I make a call. The person that picks up on the other phone line, on the other end of the phone, is a piece of shit. I said it. They're a piece of shit. No skills, zero desire to work with you, zero desire to promote the brand the right way, zero desire to get out to a show and support a dealer that is displaying a product, zero desire to spend any money in marketing, zero desire to do anything. They just want to do this. Hello? Yep. How many of those do you need? 2 on their way to you. That's all they want. I don't want to work, unfortunately, for someone or partner with someone who has that type of attitude. And what's sad is maybe the product is actually good, but the representation of the product is a piece of shit. That happens all the time. And I'm not going to give out names. I have actually called distributors, brands, and asked, hey, can I take a look at this brand? Do you have this product? I have heard great things about it. My audience is asking for it. Can I do a private evaluation of the product? And you know what they've said to me? You know what they said to me? What does that mean, private evaluation? I said, I want to listen to it here on my own time without having to feel the pressure that I need to make content. Oh no, we need, and if I like it, I said, if I love it, I'm going to make a video, a formal review. Oh no, I mean, we know our product is quality. We don't need to have your certification or approval, a stamp of approval. We know is good enough for your YouTube channel. So that right there means basically that we started on the wrong foot. I have a problem with that mentality. I'm asking you about a product that I have heard great things about. I want to listen to it privately. If I feel it's great and it sounds amazing and it's all that they're telling me it is, I will turn it into videos. I will turn it into shorts. I will give you marketing time. Yeah? Okay. But if your attitude is going to be, oh, we don't need that. We know it's great. We know it's good enough for YouTube. We don't have to go through this private evaluation process. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. Big problem with that. Because at the end of the day, I don't have to do shit for your brand or the product that's making you money. I'm calling you, rolling out of bed because I heard great things about something that you rep, and your attitude is already turned me off and away from it. So I have had those situations happen to me in the past multiple times. And you guys don't see these things behind the scenes because obviously, you're not tied to the industry the way I am, but I hear this and see this all the time. It's happened to me many times. And it's stupid and it's ridiculous. Okay, I'll give you another example, which is why you're talking about reviewers, Martin. And I don't mean to drag this along, but I think people find this type of conversation very interesting. When I get out to a show and I cover rooms and I talk about certain systems, you guys need to understand, and again, in the essence of full transparency, because we're talking about being honest people, okay? My time is not free. My time is limited, okay? This is free time right now, right? Right here, this is free time. This is me doing what I'm supposed to be doing. This is for me to grow the channel, right? This live stream right now, right? Okay. When I get out to a show, And I'm going because I want to mingle with you. I want to talk to you guys. We need to talk about hi-fi. We need to talk about your products. You guys are asking me questions. I stop for everyone that stops me in the hallway and we talk. I engage with your kids. I engage with your spouse. I engage with your sister, with your daughter, whoever is next to you. I'm engaging with them when we talk. Yeah. A lot of people right now that are watching this probably experienced that with me already, at least once. Why is that? Because I want to be all inclusive. I want to make sure that everyone that you take to the show feels welcome and part of the show. Okay, just as welcome as the audio file. That's the main reason why the family is there. Yeah? Okay. But what happens is when I get to shows, I need to make sure that I am proactive and that I am actually utilizing my time effectively. What does that mean, Jay? Would you tell us more about that? If I walk into a room and I have a partner that says, Jay, I'm a new store. I just opened up in DC. Let's talk about you covering my room. It's important to me. Not many people know about me. I want to tell the audience, what I'm doing, right? What I have, what lines, who am I, how I started in the hobby, where do I come from, right? These are conversations that we talk about before I head out to a show. These are things that we put a price on them, meaning I'm charging you to cover your operation at that particular point in time because I'm stopping everything else that I'm doing. I'm waking up in the morning, grabbing my wife at 7:30 in the morning, have a quick cup of coffee, and meeting you in your room at 8:30 before doors open at 9 a.m. for the show. That takes planning. That's orchestrating the moving pieces. That means I got to stop doing other things to meet you in your room and to also edit a video. After that gets done, I actually go back to my room upstairs to edit that video so that that video is floating on the airwaves of YouTube while the show is going on. You see all the production, right? So just doing that, filming, going upstairs, editing for about an hour and a half, I've already lost how many hours right there? 3 to 4 hours gone, right? Of my time, rather than walking the floors, checking out the show, doing content for my YouTube channel that I want to do. I've stopped all of that to give you the time of the day and airtime on my platform. So what happens is that comes at a price. You see what I'm saying? I have to charge for that service because it is a service. Now, I know some other YouTubers out there that get out there. They do this because they feel it's cool content, and they do something like this because it's something to do at a show, right? For me, it's work, and I take it very professionally. If you look at my videos, the one that I just did at Next Level Hi-Fi, you guys saw it, right? With the bass modules. Yeah? You saw my content? You saw that production video that came out a few days ago? Did you guys see that? Did you see it was a 1 hour long video? Did you see all the transitions? Did you see the entry? Did you see all the cool stuff that happened? That is a video editor working for 5 to 7 hours nonstop on a 1 hour long video. That can't be for free, folks, right? So I just want you to understand that these things happen behind the scenes. And as part of being a hi-fi reviewer, you need to be transparent about these things. Jay Igagi or whatever, sorry for killing his last name. He just went to China. He went to Hong Kong. He went to places. He didn't do this for free. You think he paid out of his pocket to travel over there, to stay at a hotel, to buy his own meals, to work 3 weeks editing video and shooting footage? Can't do this for free, bro. You got this costs money. The man has to get out there and work, right? But this is why he says this video is being sponsored by X, Y, and Z. He's being honest. That's part of being an honest reviewer. You got to say those things. Okay? You got to be honest. And so I have also addressed in the past that when I get out to shows and you see me covering systems, okay, these are partners. These are people that actually have the ability to pay me for my time, for my effort, for what I just described earlier, waking up at 7:30 in the morning to meet him at 8 a.m., to shoot the content, to organize everything, to have the microphone, the tripod, and then go upstairs and shoot it and edit the video for an hour and a half, so that I can then get started and do what I do every day at a show, which is to go through the hallways, meet and greet a lot of you, go in and out of different rooms. This is what happens at shows, folks. But if you don't take your job seriously, why should anyone take you seriously if you don't take yourself seriously? Why? Carlos, if spending good money, a dealer doesn't allow you to do home auditions, then they're not worth dealing with. Carlos, this is a very interesting statement that you're making about dealers who don't let you audition at home not being worth your time. It's a catch-22, Carlos, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, you got to look at it from the dealer's perspective now. I'm going to flip it on you. If I'm a dealer and I take you a $40,000 Strom tank, because you want to hear the benefits of that Strom tank, and I have it on the floor, let's say, and you're 40 minutes from me, and I drive it to you, lift that sucker. It's heavy. I have to rent a van to put it in the back of a van, right? Heavy. It's costing me money right there, Carlos. I got to rent a van, gas, time. Yeah, that time, the whole day, in hopes of selling you a product, right? But your intent deep down is to listen to it in your space so that you can go on the used market to buy it for less money that I'm selling it to you for. Do you see the problem there, Carlos? And there are many audiophiles who are that freaking dishonest, Carlos. Many audiophiles who do exactly what I'm telling you. They use the dealer as a showroom only to buy from the second-hand market. And so how do we make it right for the dealer that's renting a vehicle, that's hiring labor to load up a heavy product, or using their own kids to help them load up a heavy product, to haul it to your home, to offload it and set it up in your system? How do we make it fair for that dealer, for their time? Because that's a full day. Don't you think the dealer should at least be guaranteed some sort of compensation in the event that you dislike the product? He spent the money, he spent a full day traveling to you. Don't you think he should be getting something for the work? And I'm not talking about $200, because it's a full day, my friend. I don't know of anyone who gets paid. I mean, unless you're really, a blue collar or something like that, or mow grass. I don't even think people who mow grass get paid $200 a day. And that's honest work. I'm not belittling that labor. I'm just saying, I don't think even people who wash dishes get paid $200 a day nowadays. So it's all relevant, Carlos. If you're asking for a $40,000 product to be dropped off at your house, set up, and let you listen to it for a few days, that dealer needs to at least be guaranteed something, Carlos, in the event that you don't like it. So he feels like, okay, it's an honest day of work. Guarantee me $3,000. I leave it with you for a week. If you hate it, no problem. I'll come and pick it back up. I think that's pretty fair, Carlos. I think that's pretty damn fair if you ask me. Because I guarantee you, if you buy it from the secondhand market, you bring it in, not only do you not have dealer support, but also, if you hate it, you're going to lose more than $3,000 getting rid of it. You see what I'm saying? You see how you win as well? Your losses are also mitigated substantially. Because also keep this in mind, Carlos, to be fair, let's say you don't get the dealer to bring it to you. And we're talking about a Strom tank at this, just as an example. Let's say you buy it for cheaper. You never got a dealer to let you demo it, but you decided to take a leap of faith because you found it on the used market for a good price. You got to pay that shipping. So that's going to come in at $1,500 because it's a $40,000 device. It needs to be strapped down on a pallet. Insurance needs to be put on it. So you already are out $1,500 from the get-go that you're never going to get back if you don't like it. You see what I'm saying? So you have another $1,500 that you're more than likely going to lose to try to get rid of it because you hated it. So what have you done at the end of the day? What have you done at the end of the day by buying it from the secondhand market? Nothing. So that's something else you need to consider, Carlos, when you think about these things. It's a two-way street. It cannot be only one-sided. Thank you. Thank you, Franco. I appreciate it. I'm trying to be as honest as I possibly can be. I get what you're saying about home demos, but what happens to buying speakers? Each different room have different sounds. Look, with speakers, when it comes to doing a home demo for a loudspeaker is a much trickier situation. Okay? First of all, it's a lot more lifting. You're going to need at least two people, period. That's the dealer and his help. Okay? Which again, they're not doing this for free. AI is not lifting this for free either. Okay? You got to pay for AI to actually work, right? So he has to drive, he has to rent a truck, he has to offload, he has to set it up, all of this, okay? And let you hear it. One thing you have to remember, no dealer is going to leave some random stranger that they have never done business with, ever, a product and not know if they can ever get it out of that house again. Because again, I go back to what I said earlier. There are many dishonest people out there. Okay? Just to give you, and I hate to say this because it may not be good for those dealers that are trying to make a buck or two on a future home demo. But do you know that if a dealer brings something to your house, yeah, he drops it off for you to audition it, and he tells you he'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, you have bought it by the next day. Do you know that you can call the cops on him and tell him that this belongs to you and he never dropped off anything? Do you know that? And there's nothing he can do to get that product out of your house. He has to hire a lawyer to actually show proof of emails and text messages and then sue you and take you to court. And now it becomes a shit show for the dealer. You know, legally, a dealer cannot just come back to your house and retrieve the equipment he dropped off a few days prior. Did you know that? Because that's someone's home. You don't just knock and walk through the door and grab your shit and leave. It doesn't work that way. He can call the cops on you. So do you see why it's a tricky situation for a dealer? This is why a lot of dealers will never do this, of taking you a product and leaving it there. They have to be there with the product so that if you hate it that day, they can pack it up and leave with it. Leaving something overnight or a few days requires trust, previous businesses with that person, transactions. You have to be an established client for a dealer to leave you a $100,000 pair of speakers. But speakers are a much harder proposition to demo at home. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. I got speakers here. For example, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest here. Okay, I got speakers here starting at $80,000 all the way to 400 grand in storage. Right? I got speakers that are that. If you come and told me I want you to let me demo those $400,000 speakers, Jay, okay, it's gonna cost you $20,000. No commitment to buy. I will have no problem renting a big truck, two people, and take them to your house and let you listen to the speakers. And if you don't buy them, no problem. I'll take $20,000 and go home with them. Because it's the nature of the transaction. You're talking about a $400,000 speaker in this case. Now, I know that's the extreme. Okay, that's not typical. That's not normal. No one asks to demo a $400,000 pair of speakers. Typically, that doesn't happen. But it's all relevant. If the product is that kind of money, I can't let you demo a $400,000 pair of speakers at your house for $2,500. It's first of all, just the labor, as I explained, the truck, the fuel, two people. How much do I end up with? Do you think it's worth it for a dealer to let you demo $400,000 speakers to only end up with $800? Do you really think a dealer that has on hand a $400,000 speaker has the need for your $800? That's why these home demos with speakers that are expensive don't happen. Because unless you let the dealer make fair money or a certain percentage of the transaction, no dealer is going to do this. It's too much work. You see what I'm saying? And so for speakers, I would say it's doable if it's a pair of stand mounts, right? Nice pair of bookshelf speakers that he can throw in the back of his car and drive them to you with the stands. Sure, that's doable. I don't see a problem with it. Okay. But heavy speakers, expensive speakers, folks, there's too much risk involved. I know of someone, I was going to share this, a dealer friend of mine. Listen to this. A dealer friend of mine said this to me. It's a true story. You're going to love this one. He has a guy who calls him from North Carolina, and he says to him, I want to audition the Wattx reference system. Now, that's a $300,000 system, the full Wattx system. Okay. So he says to him, okay, where are you located? North Carolina. Can you come and fly in here? Nope. I want to hear it in my own system. Being so expensive, I need to hear it here before I commit to purchasing it. He says, okay, that's fair. So what are you asking me to do? I'm asking you to essentially send it to me. He says, well, sir, I don't know you. I've never done business with you. So the only way this would work is if I drive it to you from Florida. Now that's about a 12-hour drive. I drive it, I install it to make sure it's done correctly, and I stay there for the audition. The guy says, I have no problem with that. Okay. When can you do that? He says, well, when we discuss how much money you're guaranteeing me in the event that you don't like it in your system. So he says, I think $6,000 is very fair. That's what the dealer told him. He says, nope. He says, I don't think it's fair. Okay, so let me ask you this. You don't think $6,000 is fair for me to drive 12 hours one way? That's a 24-hour drive round trip. That's a full day of driving. Set up all this stuff in your system and let you listen to it in your system, which we have to do for at least 2 days because the product needs at least 24 hours to sound the best. So he says, if you liked it, let's say you loved it, are you in a position to cut the check on the spot? Well, I need to talk to my accountant first, and I need to figure out, how to move, to do this, to do that, and put it through the bid. He says, this is my point. You want me to drive for 24 hours, and you are not even guaranteeing me that if you love it, you have the power to cut the check on the spot or wire the money on the spot to purchase the unit. This is a true story. You see what I'm saying? These are the type of individuals that exist out and about. And I'm putting this in front of you guys so you comprehend a dealer's perspective as well. You have to understand it. No one works for free, folks. Folks, if in 2025, you think someone is working for free, I hate to say it, but I'll tell you to your face, you are delusional if you think someone is working for free today. No one is working for free. No one. No one's giving you free legal advice, okay? No one. Qualified advice anyway, okay? Can you find qualified opinions for free? Sure you can. But when it comes to a transaction, no one is doing anything for free. If there is a business that is about to happen between two parties, no one is doing anything for free. Some money needs to be transferred or transaction of some sort. There needs to be some sort of movement that is positive for both parties. Else, it makes no sense. If I had 400 grand to say, I would spend a U-Haul truck and drive it to Conroe, Texas. If I like what I heard, then you and I would load him up. I have no problem with that, Martin. I agree. I have no problem with your statement, Martin. People are interested in our tower, but it's high performance 24-channel DSP control components, 7,800 watts in a single carbon cabinet, lithium powered and dangerous SPL levels liability. Yep. Okay, let me see the last. I think the best and fair thing for $400,000 is a $20,000 non-refundable deposit. Chris, this is exactly what I was saying, Chris. Exactly. You're spot on. You're spot on, Chris. 100% spot on. If you have the money to buy a $400,000 speaker, if you have the money to buy that, the capability to buy a $400,000 speaker, 20 grand is nothing to you. It's gas money to you. It's no, it's what $20 would be for most of us, normal people, right? Because you are having a dealer hiring all the labor, making sure that he doesn't scratch your floor and putting these 400-pound speakers or $400,000 speakers in your room. There's a lot of liability that goes along. I agree with you. This is what fairness is, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people are going to be in the back watching me. Oh, Jay is crazy if he thinks I'm going to pay $20,000. I got the money, but I'm not paying $20,000 to audition the speakers. Then go listen to them at the room, in their showroom. Then don't ask for in-home trials. Be fair to your dealer. I mean, be fair to them. It's fair. And if you buy them, that 20 grand gets credited towards the purchase, clearly. That 20 grand is only changing hands if you are not buying anything after you hear the product. But if you love it, that dealer will give you that 20 grand towards the purchase. Absolutely. Someone with $300,000 will just buy it and stop talking about it. Forget demos, out of the question. I used to sell high-end recording gear in Manhattan. I refuse to demo anything. That's another way of thinking about this too, Rachel. I agree with you. That's another way of of really digesting this entire conversation about doing in-home demos. But there are a lot of unethical, ruthless audiophiles out there that love to take advantage of dealers. We always talk about dealers taking advantage of people. I've always been hearing a lot of dealers who take advantage of people. And that is true, by the way. A lot of this is true. But how come we never talk about these honest audiophiles that take advantage of dealers? Why do we always hear that men are the ones who cheat? How come we never hear about women cheating too? It's the same thing, right? It should be even feel, right? We always hear about us being unfaithful and women. What about women? They can't be unfaithful. They have been unfaithful too. So to me, it should be very even on both ends when it comes to selling hi-fi, when it comes to allowing a customer to do an in-home evaluation of a particular product. This is another thing that is so true. Rachel, yes, this is something that I have noticed, not always to be the case, but 90% of the time, what you're saying is the truth. 90% of the time, those who want to do an in-home evaluation, again, 90%, not 100, 90% of the time, there's still that 10% of real good customers that are willing to buy if only they can listen to it in their home. But 90%, these people don't want to buy nothing deep down. And so when they are faced with the possibility of having to pay for an in-home demo, it turns them off completely. Completely. They don't want to because they don't really want anything to begin with. In their mind, anyone who is serious about demoing hi-fi gear at home, they should always look at it as what I said earlier. Folks, it's going to cost you more money to buy it for cheaper. And if you hate it, having to get rid of it, it's going to cost you more, much more than letting your dealer make a certain fee to let you evaluate a product. Trust me, and a lot less headache, a ton of less headache, because he's doing all the work. If the product arrives damaged and you bought it at the secondhand market, you have to deal with the seller. You have to go through that BS. You have to get involved now with PayPal. You have to get involved with the carriers. But if a dealer is bringing it to your home, you don't have to worry about any of that. If he drops a speaker in your driveway, it's on him, not you. You have no liability. As an audiophile that does an in-home evaluation, you have zero liability. It's all on the dealer. You see what I'm saying? If he damages your walls, it's all on the dealer. That's what makes it better for people, okay? I buy driver and parts to make drivers. I honeycomb carbons. Okay. Let me see. Rachel Revolution. Generally speaking, you're right. I'm the exception. Yes, it's she's right. 90%, I think 90% of people who demo stuff don't buy anything. That 10% is the hardest clients to find. Those that are really interested, that are willing to pay a dealer a certain fee to bring the product and basically absorb all liability of the process. I do believe there's still a good 10% of audiophiles that just want to hear it, and if they're blown away, they buy it. I believe that's those audiophiles exist. They just don't want to gamble with their money. They're like, dude, I just want to hear it. If it blows me away, I'm giving you the money. Done. No questions asked. I'm not going to beat around the bush. So I do believe those exist, but it's less and less because of the internet, because of the fact that most people are looking for only great deals. They're not looking for the experience. Okay. They just wanted a deal. It's all about the deal. Even if the product is not something they're interested in, it's a deal. So they buy it because it's a great price that they probably will never have the opportunity to have in the future. That's the problem, too. A lot of people, a lot of good dealers that really have your best interest are facing, unfortunately, ruthless dealers that are dropping their pants, giving ridiculous deals. And then in turn, you as the audiophile who decided to take that dealer on that incredible deal, you end up with product that you don't like. And now you have to sell and lose money probably in doing so. Well, Martin, it's not everyone that's like you. If this is who you are, which is reputable, you really just want to try the component because you're seriously interested in buying it from that dealer. If it works out for you, then you know what? Keep doing that. That's the best way to maintain a great relationship with a good dealer. That's the best way. And let me tell you, if that dealer is an honorable dealer, he'll never, ever steer you in the wrong direction. You know why, Martin? You know why it is important to have a good relationship with that dealer and let that dealer make his money on those in-home evaluation, something that makes sense, right? Is because that dealer wants you as a long-term customer. He shouldn't be interested in screwing you over by steering you into the wrong electronics. Because if he does that, you're dissatisfied and now he loses you, which is not to his advantage. He needs to keep you happy. He needs to keep you feeling great because when you make him feel good, you are going to have less of a reason to go to another dealer, right? Why would he? You've been good to him. He's taking stuff for you to demo. He's never steer you in the wrong direction. You're going to keep coming back to him. You have a relationship with him. You're supporting him because you believe he's a very trustworthy dealer. And to me, that's more meaningful than going around in circles, calling every single dealer to see who gives you the best price of the day. The deal is the audiophile's slippery slope. Many audiophiles are concentrating on the deal. Many of you call around 10 times a day trying to find the best deal of the century. Unfortunately, I know people that have gotten taken out by doing so because you, instead of going to a reputable person, a reputable dealer, went to whoever was giving you the best price for what you're looking for. Prices that many dealers will not even compete against because they're too good to be true. And guess what? They probably are too good to be true or were too good to be true. And so you ended up giving someone 50 grand and never get any product again. Oh, you don't think I've heard those stories or seen them or gone through them? Well, let me give you a little story about this shit. Okay. I'm going to just throw it out there in your face. So I gave someone a price for, I think it was some amplifiers that I had on hand or something like that. Okay. And so this person decided to, okay, cool. Now we have history. I've sold him a lot of shit. He knows where I live. He's met my wife. This is not some random person. Okay. I guess he decided that he was going to find a better deal. He disappears. 2 months pass by. I run into him. And then he says to me, I'm afraid I've gotten scammed. What happened? Well, I decided to order the amplifiers that you had brand new from who I thought was a dealer. He gave me a deal I couldn't refuse, so I sent him a check for $40,000. Never got anything. He's giving me the runaround. I called the factory. It turns out he's not a dealer for that brand. He will never be a dealer for that brand. He's never inquired to be a dealer for that brand. I'm like, what? So how did you find him? Well, it turns out that he said he could do an opening order with that brand. And by doing an opening order, he would give me the best price possible because essentially those demos that he was going to order, the demo pieces, were going to be coming to me and not him. That's how he was able to give me a steal of a deal, because the initial demo pricing for a dealer is lower than normal standard dealer prices, right, on product. So after 4 weeks or 6 weeks of not hearing back from him, I called the we went back and forth. I felt that he was giving me the runaround, giving me excuses. I called the manufacturer, and the manufacturer told me he's not a dealer. He will never be a dealer of ours. So I called the guy up, not me, the person. He calls the guy up, the dealer, the supposed to be dealer, and the dealer says to him, "What? You did what? You called the manufacturer? You called them out? You mentioned me? Oh, you ruined it for me now. I was working in the behind the scenes with them the whole time these past few weeks, trying to come to an agreement so I can get a special price on these demo pieces that I was going to ship to you. But now you expose me. Now I'm not really getting the brand. Not only that, now you've hurt my reputation in the industry. Now this is going to cost me potential sales." And these manufacturers talk amongst themselves. Now that brand is going to call another brand of mine and probably basically tell them what I've been trying to do with you, which is to sell you a demo product that I don't even have for a great deal so that I can get the line. The guy never got any product. $40,000 later, now he's basically $40,000 out of pocket. Of course, a lawyer is going to say, we can go legally after him, but if he has no money and your money is gone out of his bank account, we may never recuperate anything. And that's where that's at. Never got anything. He wanted to do the wheeling and dealing, $40,000 later. This happens all the fucking time, guys. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is exactly what I'm saying to you all. There are ways of tricking you as audiophiles into giving us money for a product. And then once we have it, you're not going after us legally because it's going to cost you the same amount of money to recuperate the money you gave me to begin with. So what do? You go away. Lesson learned. $40,000 later. So now those amplifiers that you wanted a deal on are going to cost you a hell of a lot more now, right? If you buy them from a dealer, plus the 40 grand you lost. This is a true story. This is the shit that I'm trying to educate you guys on as to why it is important that you do deals with good people, good dealers. When you have a reputable source already that does you well, that you feel is making fair profit on the product, you stick to them. Stop finding highway robberies. You're gonna get caught. You're gonna get trashed. You're gonna be sent home with no money. And I promise you, you're not going to go off after them legally because the lawyers are gonna tell you if he has no money, we can go after him. But if he has no money, you still need to pay us our loyalties, our fees, and then take him to court in his home state. That means you got to get on a plane to travel to that state to get into a hotel and go to court, and they're going to call him there so you can do a civil lawsuit with him there present. And then you know what happens next? The judge is going to say, okay, we see all the proof is true. He took your money. It's why did you take his money? Well, And then the judge is going to say, well, I rule in his favor. You gave him no product. He gave you $40,000. So we're going to put you on a payment plan because you have no money to pay him. So you're going to be liable through a mediator now to put him and you on a payment plan. Now, when he defaults from that payment plan, guess what happens next? You got to go back to court and now accuse him defaulting on payments. Yes, back to the judge and do it all over again. In the meantime, that lawyer is doing ching ching ching. He's charging you every time for this work, folks. And so that's why a lot of people realize I am not going to spend another 40 to recuperate 40. So you go away, losing. All because you wanted to do your own wheeling and dealing, which I strongly suggest you stop doing. Find your reputable sources. If you're into buying hi-fi that's used, find your dude, whoever that is. If it's me or someone else, great. But once you have a good relationship, why reinvent the wheel? Why? Food for thought. Big, yeah, great point, Chris. Absolutely. It is a tough business, without a doubt, Tex. Let me see. Yes, I did, Stephen. I did talk about that case, but this just happened again recently. This just took place recently. So now you know what's going on. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on, guys. A lot of crazy stuff. So hopefully you guys, realize that this is not the right way of doing business here. You got to find your sources, trustworthy sources, stick to them. Stick to them. Jay, maybe some cartel collectors can work out a solution on your behalf. Yeah, right. That would be great. Maybe I can find some cartel guys here in Texas, right? Um, you know, this is all like a conversation that I'm having with you guys because I want the very best for you. I want to reset your mind frame, your state, your train of thought. I want to make sure that I reset how you think about doing business when it comes to buying your own hi-fi gear. Okay, the importance of your sources, the importance of who you buy from, the importance of who is it that is giving you the best price and service to begin with. But remember, service is not free. You got to let your dealer make his money. You got to. It's only fair. If he's treating you right, never scamming you, never misleading you, this is a gold right there. This is a gold mine. This dealer is a diamond in the rough. Not many dealers are trustworthy. And I'm not going to give out names. I know a lot of them that people have talked about in the past that are just ruthless, that get in a bad mood when you tell them you bought something else that was not through them. I have heard it all. Okay. This is why charging a fee for in-home evaluations is fair. That way, if you decide to not buy through them, then he made his money. He can't complain. He made his money. That was the agreement, period. Done. Okay. And well, that brings it to an end for me, guys. Today, it's been 2 hours and 8 minutes. I appreciate your support. Please do not forget to check out my website, jaysaudiolab.com, and more to come from this structure. Pretty soon, you're going to see more incredible things happening. The only thing I ask of you is to hit that like button. That's the only thing I ask. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your notifications so that you are alerted every time there's a new video coming from the lab. And there will be plenty of those. I promise you, okay? Thank you for your support. I appreciate you all. And hopefully today's video has been very, very telling of how much transparency I need to have with you guys, and obviously giving you more pointers of how to not get scammed going forward. Okay, you should save this video. If you like this video because of my transparency, you should just hit that like button. Okay, that lets me know that you want to see more videos like this with cool stories and obviously constructive feedback and a lot of knowledge and transfer and information that is beneficial to you so that you do not get scammed in the future. Cheers. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.